Hi, I'm Susan. Today I'm participating in a Here's Your Crown Women Supporting Women Challenge. I will tell you more about that in a bit. This month, the crown goes to Trish and Kay of Crafting Cousins DIY and Crafting Cousins Create. The latter is a paper crafting channel that has really reminded me of my love for paper craft. And I'm going to recreate, in my own way, a Christmas planner that they made. Both of those ladies are amazing, and I will have both of their channels listed in my description box down below. Now let's get started. I'm using this Atkins cookie box to make the spine of my book. Yes, I'm trying to do keto, and it's not easy with my cooking channel. But mine's going to be a little bit smaller than what Kay and Trish made. And they left the tab on the side to close it, but my book was so small it just didn't look right. So I'm making mine into a book form. I'm going to use this craft paper that I got at Hobby Lobby. One sheet wasn't quite long enough to cover my box, so I'm going to use this double-sided tape and tape the two sheets together. Now I'm going to center that seam in the middle of what would be the spine of my book. And I just measure about an inch. I didn't measure it, I just kind of eyeballed it. And I'm going to cut the paper to match so that it'll have some room to fold over. And I'm going to add some double-sided tape to that so that I can stick it to the paper. I'm also using some art glitter glue. And I just use a combination of both. But you could use all tape or all glue. Now I'm going to use this little stylus I got at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to score around where my paper will fold over. It just makes it a little bit easier to fold it over. And I messed up here. I cut straight down, and I realized then that I was supposed to cut the corner. So do as I say and not as I do, and make the little triangles. You want to leave about 1/8 of an inch. And with a combination of tape and glue, I fold it over and burnish it down. And now I just use my little Cricut tool and push down on the crease so that I can bend my book. And you just want to slowly turn this so that your paper doesn't crack. Now I'm going to make my hinge to hold my pages. And this one, I'm not sure exactly if I got it correct. I do wish I left the sides a little bit longer. But I didn't have the exact measurement, so I tried just figuring it out. And I made the little 1/2 inch. I think I should have made it 3/4 of an inch tall instead of, I went every 1/2 inch. And I think I should have left a longer area on the sides. And once I got it scored, I pinched it together. That'll be what holds your pages. And you just want to put your tape on the underneath side and glue it so it will glue together or tape together. And it'll hold that little ridge. And that was a 1/2 inch ridge for me. I think it should have been 3/4. But it worked out okay because my book is so small. Now I'm putting double-sided tape on both sides of those ridges. And I won't do anything with it right now because that will hold my pages later on. But I am putting tape and glue on the bottom and centering it into my book. And I give it a little score. I think those sides, I think I should have had another 1/2 inch on both sides. The cousins, they give you exact directions for theirs, but since mine was smaller, my sizes are different. And here I'm getting ready to make my pages. I have 3 hinges, so I have 3 pages. And I make one 1 inch longer than the other. And you'll see why in a minute. Now, all of my pages are about 1/4 inch shorter than the height of my book and 1/4 inch shorter in width as well. And now I'm doing the other part of my pages. And here's what I do. On the longer sheets, you want to score 1/2 inch on both sides and fold them over and add your tape. That's why they've got that extra inch. So you've got 1/2 inch on both sides, and then you'll add your tape and then lay that other sheet on top of it. And Kay does a great job of explaining it a lot better than I do. But my hinge is also a little shorter in height as well, because you want everything to fit inside the book. And this is how it'll fit in there. And you'll do 3 of these. Now I'm using this pretty paper that I got. I think I got it from Tuesday morning on clearance. It's got some beautiful prints. And I pick out what I'm going to use. With some help from my supervisor, I pick out some help on what I'm going to decorate my book in. Well, maybe I better tell you first about Women Supporting Women and who hosts this. Here's Your Crown, Women Supporting Women is a challenge that was created by Connie of Connie's Creative Creations. And her host is Megan of Painted and Distressed. And the guest host is Tammie of the Rusted Willow. All 3 of these ladies are very talented, and I will have their channels listed in the description box as well as the playlist. Be sure and check them out. Okay, I'm getting back to my paper now. I decided to go with this pretty plaid paper, and for the spine I'm going to go with this stripe. And I just cut it once again about 1/4 of an inch less than the size of my front cover, back cover, and spine. And that way it'll give it just a tad of a border. See how this looks? And then it just works together. And my supervisor really was on me today. And I just glued each section of those papers on the outside of my book. I decided I wanted some ties for my book so that I could tie it shut. And I didn't put my ribbon in there before I added my cover. So now I'm just going to add my ribbon, and I'm going to put some pieces over that ribbon that coordinate. It'll still look pretty, but it'll hide where that ribbon is glued on. I use Fabri-Tac to glue on my ribbon. It really does a good job of holding down material, ribbons, and things like that. And then I just used my art glitter glue to glue the paper over the ribbon. And I did use some double-sided tape as well. And here's how it looks. And I'm gonna, I had some cut aparts in this, and I'm gonna use that to go over the top as well to decorate my cover. And once again, my supervisor was right in the middle of things. Now I'm cutting paper for the inside of my cover, and just like before, I cut it that 1/4 of an inch on both sides, on the top and then on the side, so that it gives you like that 1/8 of an inch border. And I just attached it like I've been attaching it. And now on my pages, I'm going to decorate them, and I'm going to glue on a flap on my first page, and I measure it and just cut it a little bit smaller, and then leave 1/2 of an inch extra so that I can fold it over and attach it to my page. I also do this on that third page, and just exactly like I did it for that first page. Now for the second page, I'm cutting out a little envelope to hold like receipts and such. And I measure it out, add a 1/2 inch on the sides and on the bottom, and I fold it in, and then I do another little piece that is the same width with it folded, and I do a little 1/2 inch taller so that it will flap over. As you can see here that I put it down. Now you've got your envelope, and I put a piece of pretty paper up underneath it so that when you open it up it just looks nice. And when I was making my envelope or pocket, I did cut out not the whole square notch where the score lines cross. I cut out that so it wouldn't bind up. And once I get my flap attached, then I decorate my envelope or pocket with pretty paper. And I just put it on the top, give myself that little bit of a border, and then just cut it out. I just marked it and cut it out. And then I lay some on the bottom and on the top. And I also use some of this paper on the page 3 as well so that it coordinates. I put it on the outside of the flap, and I'll do this red color for the inside of the flaps. Now I'm going to use this pretty print for the to cover where my other flap is, the one on page 1. On the outside of that flap, I used that pretty red color that I had used on the other inside flaps, and then I just also used one of my cut aparts to go on it as well. I accidentally tore my paper, so I used some of this lace I got from Dollar Tree, that burlap lace, and I just put some with my Fabri-Tac on the top and the bottom, and it just blended in and coordinated so well with this paper. And now my pages are slowly starting to come together. And these 2 pages are going to be coordinating pages as well. And I just did that plaid paper, and I just did some corner tuck-ins at the bottom. I was going to do pockets, and I cut off too much, but since my book is so little, the little tuck points are perfect for it. And I just laid down a sheet of that striped paper on my back page. Now coming back to page 1, where I have that, I just printed out my December calendar from my planner that I'm using this year, and I just shrunk it, and I just gonna use that because my book is so small, and I'm just gonna go ahead and glue it in, and next year I'll probably make a bigger one. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put my calendar in there so I can keep track of what's going on in December for Christmas. And I just went around with that gold pen to make it look prettier. Now I'm going to add my little brads to my envelope so that I can tie it closed. And I was going to use that baker's twine, but it just really didn't go with my paper, so I ended up using embroidery floss. But I just measured up a 1/2 inch from where the flap is, top and bottom. And I had a little small punch to do that, but I couldn't reach it down in there, so I just used my little pokey tool and added my brad in like that so that I can close my envelope. And I just cut a piece of that red paper to go down so that it would cover the brad. And I just tied my embroidery floss on with a double knot, and then just cut off the excess and wound the other end, the longer end, down and cut off what I didn't need of that. And now that's complete. Now for my last page where I had put that striped paper down, I'm going to make an accordion folder. I probably didn't even have to put down the paper. And I'm using some of this striped paper, and I cut it 2 inches, and I just scored it every 1/2 inch and folded it. And I do that for both of them. And then I cut that red paper just a little bit shorter than the width of the book, because I'm going to lay it sideways. And I will glue it down and glue the sides together. Just watch and see what I do, because it's so hard to explain. See, after folding those sides like a fan, I've got like a little folder there. Now for the inside back cover, I'm just going to do a simple pocket. And I just measure the width that I want, add an extra inch on the sides and a 1/2 inch on the bottom. And I just fold it all the way around those 3 sides, and I notch out those corners where the score lines cross. And then I just put some tape on that and add it to the back of my book. I used my ruler to make sure everything gets pushed down. And on the front inside cover, I decide just to use a belly band. And my assistant Bushy is checking on me to see if I need any help. Now I'm going to add my pages, and I just pull back that tape that I had put on earlier on that left side. And you want to slide your page down, but not quite all the way to the bottom. You want to leave a little bit of room so it can fold. And then you just pull the tape out from underneath the other and lay it down. And just do that for all 3 sides. And now I'm going to decorate it. And they had some cool stickers that came with this pack of paper. So I just had fun with it and enjoyed just putting stuff where I wanted to put it. For that flap on page 3, I found this pad. It's not very Christmassy, but it's cute. And I cut it down so that it would fit. And I just added a belly band there and slid it in there, the pad in there. And since I had that little piece left over, I also put it on the little shorter side and slid that part down. And I'm still in the process of decorating, and Bushy decided to check and make sure everything's going all right. So here's a last look through. I made the little charm to go on the front. I added a little bow that I had, a raffia bow. I added my pen. Added another little charm. And I just gonna let you look at the rest of the things that we did. And here's one last look at my finished Christmas planner. I'm really pleased with it. I hope you like it as well. If you do, please give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't. Ring that bell so you can be notified when I upload new videos. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Thank you, Kay and Trish, for the inspiration that you give. And thank you, Connie, Megan, and Tammie for hosting this challenge. I really had a lot of fun making this. And until next time, bye y'all.